Welcome to another edition of Banter and Babble. I am the Dude79, and joining me always, my esteemed colleague, Mr. Fanboytone. Mr. Fanboytone, welcome back, sir.
It's good to be here.
How are you doing today?
Tired.
You survived retail week. The craziest week of retail is now behind you.
I barely survived it.
Barely survived it?
Actually, it wasn't that bad this year. Just what everybody wanted to do. A 54%, I believe, if I remember the report, 54% of the shoppers did not use brick and mortar.
Really?
So that was the report. One of the reports.
54%.
Online sales instead. So honestly, if Black Fridays were like that more often going forward, smooth.
That's pretty wild, dude. That's pretty
it.
wild. Thank you so much, Mega, for that subscription. We appreciate you very, very, very much. Hopefully, everybody is doing great tonight. We had, obviously, last week was Thanksgiving week. And you know what I ate, Tone? Do you know what I ate, Tone? Do you know what I ate?
Besides ass?
Everyone loved the photo in the Discord. Nobody talked shit. Everyone celebrated. They were like, oh my God, you were right. That looks good. That fried liver looks good.
Gross.
It was delicious, you guys. The fried liver was delicious. It was so, fuck you, Drastin. Fuck you, Tricky Region. It was amazing.
No, thank you, Arkenrath. They are looking crispy, by the way. We're moving on from that fucking subject.
Wow.
Crispy beard, little furry crispy beard over there. Nice. Got some laser lining going on over here.
I'm just fucking lazy.
Dude, you're going, is that what it is?
Dude, this is,
I thought it was
actually,
No Shave November.
Honestly, man, I have been a furry dude
We know.
since like 9th grade, dude. Like I've had a goatee.
I was shaving in
everywhere.
7th grade,
I mean,
man.
I was a fur ball.
Yeah.
But this is the most beard
Really?
I've ever had in my entire life. Normally, I'm like that 5 o'clock shadow. Thank you so much for the follow, J-Dig. Appreciate you. But this is the most burly I've been.
It's very burly of you.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. It's pretty BA. I actually think it's pretty hot.
Get you a little honeypot bear.
Yeah. Goes good with my back hair. Anywho.
Oh.
So you had a good Thanksgiving now? Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm sorry. White Castle's already come up in the chat today. Stop trying to ruin
No.
everything.
Who was
Stop.
it? Was it Drastin that went
Drastin's the super fan.
You know what, Drastin? I'm with you. I'm okay with White Castle.
Fuck that. Guess
I'm
what,
cool
everybody?
with White Castle.
Emergency announcement.
Oh, boy. Oh, sus. Is this an emergency meeting?
Today, December 2nd, nationally, the first time nationally in about 10 years, if I remember correctly, McDonald's brought back the McRib.
Is it back right now?
Yeah. What's up, Blueberry Diet? Motherfucker.
Oh, man, I know.
McRibby
so
is
bullshit.
back.
I'm going to get one tomorrow. I can fit that into my diet. I can fit that into my diet.
You don't get to say White Castle's good, but diss on the McRib. You can fist yourself.
Man, everyone just comes in hating on the fucking White Castle. That's
White Castle's gross.
It's not.
Do you actually scoop the diarrhea out of your fucking toilet and eat it for a snack? Nope.
Right. No.
You do, yeah. You might.
I would. McRibs are pork buttholes, and I would eat a pork butthole.
I love pork buttholes.
Apparently,
Weird.
I would eat a butthole.
Yeah, love it. Somebody's already got we got Meg's out there got a McRib. That's great.
Mother Booty says she's going to eat 17.
That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear.
Thank you so much for those cheers, El Blanco. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Blanco.
Very kind of you.
17 buttholes.
That's a lot of buttholes. I would eat 17 buttholes, but I digress.
It's not even Saturday night.
Anyways. Now, obviously, everyone's here tonight. Everyone's tuning in because they want to talk about food. They want to talk about Jiu Jitsu. Right? That's why everyone's here.
That's absolutely why
nobody is here for any sort of a giveaway or any kind of like a possibility of winning a small prize. I'm just kidding.
Are we giving away some PSN money tonight? Because I'm hyped.
We're getting pretty close. Guys and gals, if you didn't know already, 25 minutes.
25 minutes. Look at the countdown.
25 minutes until we announce the winner of the PlayStation 5 disc version.
Yep.
As well as a $50 PSN card. So you're going to get some thank you, Pikachu. I appreciate you, sweetheart. Someone's going to win big tonight. Someone's going to have a nice early Christmas present. You know, obviously the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, they are nigh impossible to get right now.
Hey, that's true. You can't, websites, but you're fighting bots. It's a mess everywhere. Retailers are saying don't ask till like February. So
did you see Mudini got one?
Oh, I didn't.
Dude, so Meyer
Myers has done a brilliant job, by the way.
He got on at like, I want to say, and I don't know if he's in the chat. He might not be in the chat tonight because he's usually busy at night. But he went to Meyer at like 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock whenever it opened. And there was a huge queue of like 27,000
It was
people.
This website, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And he was like, there's no fucking way I'm going to get this. But he left his laptop open, brought it by his bed, turned the volume up so he could hear anything. He went to bed. And then at 5 a.m., he heard a ding, ding, ding. And it was like, you're up. You're in the queue. Got a PS5. And he went and picked it up from the store.
And that's what I've been hearing. People had success. So it sounds like Meyer did it properly, whereas they, as you say, set up an online queue, and then you could go to your nearest store and pick it up. Like, all these other fucking sites that are messing with this shit need to take note, or retailers, whoever, do what Meyer did. That's great. That makes it easy, less hassle, no fucking bot issues. So yeah, that's pretty great. That's a good route, because like places like Walmart are part of the problem, because from what I understand, they don't give a limit. You can't, like, a lot of retailers say you can buy one, that's it, which it should be.
Right.
Not like I need 7.
Holy shit, you guys! Thank you guys so much. Holy cow, man!
Appreciate those subscriptions,
man.
Gal.
Thank you guys very, very much. We appreciate that support. Seriously, that means like a lot to us. I'm sitting here and I'm getting the dinging sounds. I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna start crying right now. Thank you guys so much. Really, really appreciate that support.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that.
That is amazing. So yeah, Moudini got one, but I know there's a lot of people out there that still are they're struggling, man. You can't get to, like you said, you go to these websites and they're just bots are eating them up, and then you go to eBay and there's dozens, like hundreds of them at like $1,500, $2,000, and it's just like, fuck, dude.
There are people that show pictures when they got like multiple, like somebody I know today was like, oh yeah, my friend he's gotten a couple from Walmart in the last week or two. He's made about $1,200, and looked right at him and said, oh, he's that guy. And he kind of looked at me like, oop. I'm like, sorry, but like, as an enthusiast as well too, and somebody who works in retail, like, you just want people to see get them the things they want,
right?
And that scalping shit is somebody who collects like fucking toys and action figures and shit. Like, if you can't, like, there's one on right now from Target that I can't get hold of because everybody scalped them right away out the gates. So now they're $70 on eBay, and I'm like, hey, double the price of this fucking thing or not? But it's Mandalorian and the Child.
Is that PS5 from the Banter Babble home office in Valdosta? Yeah, that's exactly where it's from.
Yes,
That's exactly where it's coming from.
We give you a subscription to the Peach Monthly magazine as well, too.
Yeah, it's coming from headquarters. It's coming from headquarters.
Yeah, headquarters.
Thanks for that follow, Danker. Appreciate it. But Tom, what else you been up to, man? You've been doing a lot of gaming.
So I have. So just to dial back real quick and not to take up too much time eating it up, but this was the first Thanksgiving I had off in like 6 or 7 years. And I started drinking mimosas at breakfast. I woke up late, so it was 11 a.m. because I was drinking the night before. Shock. 11 a.m. mimosas, breakfast, just a little pre-breakfast before the dinner, which I know a lot of people typically don't. I don't usually do that. But when French toast is in front of you, yes. Yep. So I drank mimosas all day and played Mortal Kombat 11 like all fucking day. So
now how's the PS5 upgrade on that?
83 gigabytes for Mortal Kombat 11 right now on PS5. But let me tell you, of everything that I've played so far, that is probably the most fresh and crisp of all of them, next to like maybe Miles.
Really?
Yeah, and I haven't seen Demon Souls yet, but I'm telling you right now that this game
already looked good.
It looked great on PS4 Pro, but on the fucking, like, the intricacies of like some of the armor and the braidings, it's highly noticeable. The load times,
snappy.
Remember everybody playing fighting games and going, oh, this is great, fucking trilogy or something. Oh, we just lost and you just want to get back in it and beat your buddy up. Instant.
That's wild.
It's amazing.
That's really, really good. Yeah, we're starting to see a lot of these games get upgrades. I believe Rainbow Six Siege just got its PlayStation 5 Xbox Series X update where it runs at 120 frames. Supposed to look really, really good. But the thing is, man, here's the issue I'm having right now. And I know it's next Tuesdays when it happens, but I'm playing Spider-Man, I'm playing Astrobot, I'm playing Sackboy, I'm playing Demon Souls, I'm playing all these games all at 60 frames, and then I go back and play Destiny 2, and I'm just like, oh, come on, just next Tuesday is when the next gen update drops, okay. So we're getting a 4K 60 on these new consoles. And then I'm going to be like, fucking thank you. It's hard to go back. I mean, obviously Destiny's a beautiful looking game, but when you're sitting there, now you're really starting to feel like the restrictions of the old systems. Everything is running 60 frames on these systems.
I know.
And I go back to my baby. I'm like, oh my god, it's only 30 frames right now.
And that's just it right now too. Like with like even playing like Miles and like seeing some of the intricacies. Now that I finally have a 3D Pulse headset, thank you again, Cap, for that.
Yes.
But,
3D Pulse headset is fucking awesome.
It's pretty next level. Like now I'm really starting to see all the stuff instead of playing these old games. Like, you know, but man, honestly, NetherRealm it was the 17th, I think it was when that dropped. NetherRealm pushed out their upgrades for next gen real fast.
Yeah, they didn't fuck around.
They were ready, and Jesus, worth it. So there's a lot going on out there in the chat, guys. You guys got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna try to keep up. We're gonna try to keep up. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger so we can.
Let's. I see somebody brought up Uno again. Go figure. That's Arkenrath.
Drast is right. God of War looks fucking awesome.
That's what everybody said. I do need to boot that up.
Do you know what looks? What I've heard looks great is Days Gone.
That's what somebody else said.
Days Gone is a 60 frame game now. Like I guess Days Gone looks fucking rad, dude.
It's fucking cool.
It looks really, really good. So, I mean, there's a lot of great games. All these games are running 60 frames, but next week is the one I'm waiting on. And
you're waiting on the Destiny.
That's the Destiny 2 one, and then obviously next week is another big game. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But first, home, before we move on to our first topic, what are we drinking?
We are drinking. Hey, by the way, this goes out to Buried Alive out there. I think sometime early in the spring or last year, you said, "Hey, find this beer. I really enjoyed it. It's called D's Nuts," which is very appropriate for the channel. And I did find it. My one of my local liquor stores actually ended up grabbing it, and it's from Beard's Brewery, D's Nuts. So if you guys are thirsty tonight, pull up a chair and have a sip of D's Nuts.
Yeah, these nuts are really tasty.
And it's good. It's a nut brown. It's caramely. Like I told you, the caramel.
No, I will juggle these nuts all night long.
You can juggle these nuts all night.
Seriously,
if you need to.
I will take a mouthful of these nuts. Yep. No, absolutely. No doubt about it. Candy Core Girl, thank you so much for that. You guys are seriously fucking out of your minds and amazing. Seriously, really, really appreciate that. Is there a pube in each can, Prime ads? You know what? I think there's one caught in there. There might be one.
Why would that be the first thing he decides to ask?
Because he's a fucking pervert. Plus, it's past his bedtime. He's probably really tired right now.
He's
he doesn't. But the fact is, like, the fact that he showed up is hilarious because I already removed his entries.
Good
for the PS5. So, anyways, good luck, Prime. Good luck, dude. I hope you win, man.
They're very smooth. Very, very smooth.
I know he's exhausted. We appreciate you being here, buddy.
We love you.
We love you, man. I don't know what else you want to talk about. I mean, we got 17 minutes.
Well, I guess we can just briefly talk about. We said we've been bouncing around a game, so I'm really heavy into Need for Speed Remastered.
Yeah, you're really on that right now.
I'm into that because Viper Strike, if you're out there, by the way.
He's got you. Yeah,
he's got one out there in the auto log that I'm like a fucking pube from beating, but everything else I've decided to entirely crush on him. So you're welcome for that. Dabbling that still, of course. I did finally beat Batman Arkham Knight. Glad to walk away from that. Because again, I will say it that playing the Spider-Man game really made me realize how dated that game's combat was and how clunky overall. I think I love the Batman Arkham series, guys. They're great games. Rocksteady's amazing, and thank you, Rocksteady, as always, for making such a great narrative. And Batman is awesome. It's one of the best out there, right? But the game very, very needs it needs a better, smoother control scheme because Spider-Man gets it right. So when you're trying to play that for 5 years, it definitely felt dated to me. But Mortal Kombat has been out of nowhere, the big one right now. And I didn't want to play anything before Cyber.
You were always really big into it, anyways, prior.
But I stopped, and then I never really got back to the Aftermath. I beat the Aftermath stuff on Thanksgiving because it was only a 3 or 4 hour little whatever, and that was awesome because the original actor that played Shang Tsung's in it. So that
Christopher
story,
Lambert,
and now you got the Christopher Lambert
and Bridget. What's her name? Bridget Sampras.
Yeah.
Some Bridget Wilson Sampras.
She was in Billy Madison.
She was like the best part of Billy Madison.
Right. But yeah, so it's pretty wild to have these characters into that game to not look so good, but draw me back in. So, but that's honestly Miles Morales. I decided to jump into that, and
that's good. I'm still making my way through Spider-Man, which I fucking love. By the way, Spider-Man's a really good game.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Working through that. I'm hoping to have that done by Monday. I'm going to go really hard on a Friday night with the stream, play through it some more, try to get through the campaign, wrap things up Monday night. I wanted to try to start Miles Morales for a stream, but man, I mean, Cyberpunk drops next week. That's like the game.
Yeah.
And it's so difficult to focus on two story narrative games. But, you mentioned that Miles Morales is from all intents, from what we understand, is not a terribly long game.
They say like an 8 hour game, but I'm guessing if you like do all the side stuff,
like 12 hours or something like that.
I guess maybe 8 hours is part of that. The story's pretty short, but like I was telling you, it draws you in. draws you in for sure. So
yeah, it's a lot of fun. I've been really digging that. I've been playing a lot of obviously Beyond Light. You know what the thing is, man, with Beyond Light, there are a lot of quests you have to do this season. There's a lot to do.
Is there? So it's pretty meaty.
It's been very meaty early on. There's a lot to do. Like I'm constantly going at and I told you before the show, I have to stop. Tuesday is the update for Destiny. That's when they bring out the new weekly stuff, bounties, dailies, and whatnot. And I formed this horrible habit of staying up to like 3:30 the night before B&B. So I got to sit here and drink coffee and get drunk just to get my energy up because I'm sitting there but there is a ridiculous amount of shit to do in this game right now. A ridiculous amount of stuff.
That's good though. Yeah,
I mean it's been really hype. The only problem with it right now is it's I don't want to say it's buggy, but they're finding a lot of issues. And they've had to delay Trials of Osiris now for about 3 weeks.
Yeah, but the 4 of you that play it can handle that weight.
Oh, wow.
Trials bigger than that, though?
Oh, Trials is pretty awesome.
I know, but, like, does the entire community get down on that?
Well, I mean, it's dude, there's a reason the whole community doesn't do it is because it's very
That's
difficult.
What I'm saying,
it's super, it's sweaty, it's challenging, but it's fun. And they've got some new adept weapons, so it looks, see the Miznos, the Beyond Light looks good, so... What did Cuddles say? Just stop playing Destiny like 90% of the other people. See, that's the thing, man. Like, I get Cuddles' bit, but if you look at Steam and you look at everyone that's playing, it cracks me up, man, when people are like, oh, Destiny's dead. And then you go to Twitch when the raid was on and you see how many fucking people are playing and watching.
It's wild.
You know what's dead? Division 2, Anthem, Marvels.
What's
all
Anthem?
These games are fucking dead.
What's Anthem?
Destiny continues to just press on and continues to just do what it does. So, Black Magic, I have not done the raid. That is what I'm working towards right now. I'm trying to get raid ready. I really want to check that out, man. The raid, my understanding, reading, this is one of the best raids they've made. A lot of people really, really dig it. So, what is Destiny? Wasn't that a band? It was.
It was Destiny's Child.
Destiny's Child.
DC.
They're really, really good, too. They're really, really good.
Really awesome.
12 minutes. How about we go to the first topic?
Why don't we do that? I know we're all excited.
And we'll come back to it, but we got to wait 12 more minutes. We're going to go to the first topic because this should be a brief conversation. Well, we're going to talk about...
I don't know if I can go 12 minutes on this motherfucker.
We're not going to. Moving on to our first topic. Let's talk about Jiu Jitsu. Starring Nicolas Cage, Frank Grillo, Elaine,
Tony Jaa.
Musani, Tony Jaa. Guys... We were really, really excited for this movie.
Very, very excited for this.
Really excited for it.
Uh-huh.
We came in with low expectations, but kind of high too, because I feel like with Nicolas Cage involved, you got to set your expectations kind of low, but you got to leave a kind of a high ceiling just in case.
Yeah, because you never know.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know with Nicolas Cage. And this wasn't a good movie. The issue I have with this movie, and you know what the first indicator was that this wasn't a good movie? We talked about this before it came out. I was going through IMDb because I like to get the facts and the trivia from the movies and such. And it says Nicolas Cage took over for Bruce Willis. That's a fucking red flag. That's a red flag. When Nick Cage takes over, or when anybody takes over a movie that Bruce Willis was working in or working on, red flag. And this just wasn't a good movie. I mean, and it sucks because you and I talked about it. When you're looking at a movie like this that is basically Predator meets Mortal Kombat, how do you fuck that up? I want to get your thoughts. Hit me with your thoughts.
I mean, that's exactly it. That's what we were looking at this when we first saw the trailers. Like, this looks like Mortal Kombat meets Predator. That sounds fucking cool. I like sci-fi. I like fighting movies and martial arts. It's got Nick Cage and Tony Jaa. Yeah. Where the fuck's he been? In some fucking mountain for 10 years. I don't fucking know. And then you watch it and you're like, fuck. I was like, fuck. Like, right out the gate, like, I'll be honest. The initial fight, some of the fights, like, even when the beginning, the guy comes back and he's got amnesia or whatever he's got, and he's captured. For some reason, even in that room with the way the dialogue was going, I'm like, oh, this dialogue's really not good.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy, and the lead guy was like really not good. So I'm already like,
I'm gonna jump in right there.
Yeah,
this guy sucks. Eleni Musi or whatever his name is. Like, look, when you think of a movie like Jiu Jitsu, Nicolas Cage, as Predator versus meets Mortal Kombat. you know, it's an absurd premise,
Right.
Okay, this movie is a candidate for so bad it's good.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to have a certain acting ability to get through these types of movies, you know. And this Eleni Musi guy, whatever his name is, I'm not even going to pronounce it because he fucking sucks as an actor. I mean, he's a great fighter and he choreographs well and all that jazz, but he is just. There's bad acting in these movies, and then there's really bad acting when you're trying to take the premise seriously. This is not a movie where people should be taking it seriously. The actors should be having fun with it. Nicolas Cage is having fun with his role. He's Nicolas Cage. He's gonzo. He's crazy. He's a weirdo, but he's having a good time with it.
Right.
But when you're trying to carry this movie with dramatic flair, and you're not a dramatic actor or a good one, it just stands out more than it should.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you look at a movie like what's Anaconda with Jon Voight and Ice Cube and Jennifer Lopez and all that, dude, that's not a good movie. But I'll watch it because it's campy as fuck and everyone's over the top. Jon Voight over the top.
Yeah,
Ice Cube.
I'll watch it every time.
I mean, Jon Voight is fucking over the top.
Yeah,
but you know, it's funny in a way. It's humorous. You know, it's not a good movie.
No, it's
but
ridiculous.
It's funny. Like I'll watch Anaconda when it's on. But man, when you watch this movie, it is an hour and what is it, hour and 20 minutes? Not even that, hour and a half.
I fell asleep trying to finish it.
Dude, it is a brutally painful fucking movie. The story is, again, I would have liked to them explore this a little bit more. I mean, it was a cool premise, but honestly, man, you get all these well choreographed fight scenes for the most part. They're well choreographed. Some of them are, but then there's like this one where it's like in a first person mode, which is cool at first, but it's got this jarring effect where like it's in, you know, he's in first person mode fighting, but then it stops and he jumps out into third person and you're looking at him fight and then it comes back in. It's just this jarring transition. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Which is weird,
and
that was actually one of the few things I liked about the movie was the different take on like a fight scene. Like you're going from third and first person. I actually enjoyed that part of it. And because that kicks off pretty early in the movie, and I was like, "Oh, that's kind of cool. That's unique. That's different. We can work with this. The acting's bad. We'll see where the action goes."
Mm-hmm.
And that was about the only time I was like that because, like, they've got, and a lot of movies use them these days, like CG, like blood when you're getting
that
shot.
Was stupid. It almost looked like they were going.
It was too much. Like it was way too much CG.
And I think
blood.
that kind of ties in with the comic book vibe they were going with the transitional scenes. Like you'd see the fight scene break out, and then there'd be like this comic book like transition, like they're moving from this area to this one.
But it was such a. It was
so lame.
It was just fine. Like you can do a comic book movie in that sense.
Yeah.
But you've got to be able to have the whole thing packaged and coherent for that to work, though, too. And that's part of the problem is, like, this movie is all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, you got so little background story on so much of the stuff. Like, you're like, oh, for these people?
You know,
like,
and Blanco says, unless it's meant to be comic booky, then commit to it. Don't try to half-ass it. Don't just have, like, these fucking comic book transitional pieces, but then you go to, like, a regular movie. You got to have more themes to it, even in the more action-oriented portions of it. And the blood doesn't count because it just looked cheap. The special effects in this movie are really cheap, to the point where it's, like, yeah, it's taking me out of it as well.
Yeah, the spaceman, whatever.
the spaceman.
Yeah, like, even his face, like I said, it looked like somebody put their face up. You know how, like, you get, like somebody gets close to a fish bowl, looking at the goldfish in your face. That's what it looked like in his helmet. I'm like, that's stupid.
Yeah, dude.
Like, I mean, like, if it's gonna be an alien, we get that, but like, why is it gonna look so stupid?
Yeah.
Like, just every little thing about it, and you see, even some of the action scenes like have potential to be great.
Some of them are really, like I said, they're really well choreographed.
Yeah.
Like you're like, okay, this is pretty entertaining here,
right?
But then just everything surrounding it is so bad. And again, when you're making a movie that's supposed to be so bad it's good, there's a very small gray area for actors, and it takes seasoned actors and talented actors to pull these movies off to where they're entertaining. Right. Whereas this guy, the main actor, is trying so hard to just like be dramatic. I'm just like, dude, stop. You can't act. You're a fighter. Have fun with it. Be a little crazy. Be over the top. Laugh at certain shit. He's just like so wooden and stiff. I'm like, this guy sucks. And it ruined it. It ruined it. Like I said, it's a small line to toe if you're trying to be in one of these bad, like so bad it's good.
Right. It was terrible.
Yeah, it was just not a good movie,
Don't watch
guys. And you know, You sent me a Venn diagram that is pretty accurate, and I feel like this is where
One true God.
one true God. I mean, look at this. This is pretty accurate. I mean, and it kind of fits in with the last two movies we've talked about with Nicolas Cage, Mom and Dad. Really good, entertaining, just crazy over the top.
Right.
And then you have Jiu Jitsu, and Nicolas Cage is this guy in the middle of this Venn diagram. You have, this is great. This Venn diagram. This is fucking accurate as hell.
It's so hard to believe Frank Grillo to make a bad movie.
Yeah, Frank Grillo looked like he was bored as fuck. Like, they wasted his character.
And he's not even like this huge actor, but like when he's in stuff, it works.
Yeah,
like
no, he was wasted.
even Skyline 2, which is underrated.
Yeah, this is obviously this is a Nick Cage movie. You can. This is a hard pass. Obviously,
yeah, we're ashamed.
And that's the thing, man. With Nicolas Cage, you're gonna have some winners, and then you're gonna have Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
And this is just one of those ones where you're just like, you know what, let it go. It doesn't quite reach the heights that we had hoped. And yeah, I wouldn't buy this. I wouldn't watch this even if it's on TV. There's better things you can do with an hour and 30 minutes of your life. Very disappointing. Very disappointing. It was painful to watch.
It was very painful to watch, and that's that for that.
So
one true God.
You had I had hopes for it. Yes, absolutely. I mean, anytime Nicolas Cage is involved, there is hope.
There's always hope.
There's hope. It could be an entertaining movie to some degree, or some like just a very
good or bad. They can still be bad can still be entertaining depending on how you're how you're intaking it.
This movie just sucks.
It's just it was just not
sucks.
good. It was just disappointing that, like, again, on paper it sounds cool. Like, oh, you got Nick Cage in a fucking sci-fi
it's
Mortal
absurd.
Kombat.
It's an absurd
cool.
premise. I went in expecting an absurd premise.
Yeah,
an absurd story.
I had zero expectations.
Just everything else sucked around it, dude. It's like you gotta have actors that can carry these types of movies and have fun with it, and just it's not gonna happen, man.
Yeah, he does, Prime. He still does make entertaining movies.
We'll go watch Face Off. Face Off's fucking sweet. Now there's a gem.
Still fucking classic.
There's a gem. All right, 2 minutes.
Oh, we're 2 minutes.
2 minutes away from announcing the winner of the PlayStation 5.
Should we stall for a minute then, or 2 and a half?
I mean, how do you want to stall? Why don't you tell a story? Tell us an anecdote story.
Like what?
Anything.
Tell you anything?
I mean, when was the last time you rubbed one out?
That's personal. I don't want to talk about that.
Man, it's going to be crazy. 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
2 minutes. I actually do got to go to the bathroom, but I can't make it up those stairs in 2.5 minutes and be down here for the winner.
How about you go now and I'll wait? Because at 2 minutes, it's not going to draw. I have to hit draw the winner. So we'll drag it out even more and piss everyone off. It'll be fun. You get to troll everybody.
All right.
Go. Go now, you little bitch. What he does, man. See? Can't take him anywhere. That's why we can't have nice things. Dude cuddles. 2021. 2021. Look at that, you guys. 1 minute and 40 fucking seconds. Really excited. The plan is to get this thing out to you, the winner, tomorrow. Just depends. I get done with work at 4:30. I think I can still hit up the UPS store and get this sent out to you, to the winner, ASAP. So if it's not tomorrow, it'll definitely be Friday. We'll get it to you really, really quick. Work fucking sucks, Tricky, and you know it. Work fucking sucks, bro. I'll just come drop it. Yeah, if the winner is in Saginaw, I'll drop it off. No problem. But no, and again, you guys, this is because you guys and girls have been so supportive and have been so fucking awesome and have been here every single week. And I mean, like I said, we didn't want to post this on social media. We didn't want to post this on Twitter because, man, the fucking bots would have ruined it. And we didn't want to do that. And again, we hope you guys and gals will stick with us through 2021 and see what happens. What's up, Houdini? Yeah, fella. Tone couldn't hold his fucking wad, so he had to go pee already. We're not even to the second fucking topic. He's already gone. Houdini, we told your story of capturing a PlayStation 5, dude. We talked about it. Pretty crazy stuff. Just to fucking let the laptop sit out all night. And he so congratulate Houdini, everybody. He got himself a PlayStation 5 in the most unlikeliest of ways. So that's pretty rad. 13 seconds. 13 seconds. Now, I don't believe it draws a winner. I believe it allows me to draw the winner. 2 seconds, and the drawing is up. Oh, my. Takes us right here. Giveaway is ended. Let's scroll down. Where's the winner? View contest. Let's see what happens, guys. Let's see what happens. Draw winners. We'll wait for Tone. We're going to wait for Tone. Let you guys sit here. Oh, boy. This is going to be crazy, guys. Let's see. Tone, time is up.
I could hear everything with that little peephole you got right up into the bathroom.
Time is up.
Time.
So you know what we should do? We should just sit down and have a drink. So how you doing, man?
Doing fine.
How's everything going?
Yeah. Tired.
I know, I am whooped.
Yeah, I mean, you had a nice vacation. Had to go back to work,
dude. And when I came back to work, it was chaos at work. It was really, really difficult. I did not like it at all.
This beer's really good.
It's really good. It's really good. It's like
I love these nuts.
What was the one we had before the show? The CEO.
CEO Stout. That's coffee, espresso, oatmeal. It's my favorite beer from Right Brain Brewery in Traverse City, Michigan.
Wouldn't that be funny if we were just like, we don't really have a PS5. We just wanted to like troll you guys. Wouldn't that be like the best troll ever?
But we will send out some Christmas B&B socks if you'd like them.
And they're they're crispy.
Yeah.
They're very
that
crispy.
package has definitely been broken. That seal is not still sealed.
All right. Are you ready? Clicking on this. Again, thank you guys and girls very, very much for your support. We appreciate
all you all.
Being here every single Wednesday, keep the chat going, to have fun with us. We appreciate each and every one of you. This contest is for all of you, and it means the world that you guys support us. We love you guys and girls very much. Thank you. Now,
all right.
Without further ado, drum roll, please. Draw winner. Jamie Fortenberry.
Oh!
Jamie Fortenberry. You got to move your head so you can see. Jamie Fortenberry is our winner for the PlayStation 5 disc version. Who is that?
That's Candy Core.
Is that Candy Core?
That yeah. You just won. I can drop that off to you.
Hey, congratulations!
Wow, look at that.
Congratulations.
Awesome.
There you go. You're going to get yourself a PlayStation 5 disc version and a $50 PSN card. You can pick up a game and download it, and you're ready to go. Tone will be... All right, I'm out. Moodini, you already got one. Get out of here.
Right.
No, seriously, guys. Thank you guys and girls so much. Congratulations. This contest is racist. I told you I removed you. You had no chances of winning, Prime.
Yeah, man, Prime.
You couldn't win at all. I removed you from the shit. You're not. You couldn't win at all. Mood's disputing it.
Claim is disputed.
No, thank you, Candy Car. Seriously, appreciate it. I'm taking this to court. Yeah. There you go. Bring all that empty evidence and nothing and whatnot, and see how it works out.
I will message you either tonight or tomorrow, and we can make a plan for that.
There you go. Seriously, guys.
That's in town.
Thank you so much. We really, really
wild.
appreciate it. Now, that's not the last giveaway. We'll have some more giveaways throughout 2021. We'll have lots of stuff to give back to our community. We appreciate you guys and girls. And that was exciting.
Oh, that was
awesome.
That was
awesome. Dude, it took a second for it to pop up. I hit go winner, and I was like, come on, give me the fucking name.
Right.
There it is.
Player.gg doing its thing. So
awesome.
Thank you. We appreciate that. I know you've been active in the Discord a little bit too. Come on, King. She's another one of the Supernatural fans, dude. You know that. You guys and your Supernatural.
Well, another generation don't play PlayStation. Oh, Cuddles is out.
Oh, come on.
No, that's awesome. Thanks a lot, you guys. Appreciate that. All right. Moving on. Got our winner. We will get that out to you. Tone will take care of that.
Yeah, I'll holler at you.
Moving on to the next topic. Now, we can talk about a good movie. We can talk about a movie we did enjoy.
Oh,
one that was really kind of unexpectedly look, with Fatman, I actually had higher expectations for Jiu Jitsu just because it's Nicolas Cage. But, you can't really write off Mel Gibson. Fucking Fatman is awesome.
Like, really awesome.
This is a really, really, really good movie. I know Prime just said he just watched it. This is going to enter my rotation for Christmas movies every year.
And that's a big deal because you seem to have that.
I have a pretty lengthy list of Christmas movies. Mm-hmm. Okay, really lengthy list. There's certain movies that I like. Bad Santa, The Ref, obviously Die Hard, Gremlins.
You're a diehard.
I'm
Is
a diehard.
Christmas
I don't
movie.
give a fuck what crazy ass Bruce Willis says.
Because that's a
Christmas
big.
movie.
That's we've talked
Yeah,
about
fuck
that last
Bruce
year.
Willis.
I think
He's a
too.
piece of shit. I don't
All
like
right,
Bruce
fair
Willis
enough.
anymore,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
do like Die Hard.
That's fair.
Movies like Gremlins, Christmas Vacation with
Oh, I
Liz
forget
Walls.
about Gremlins.
I mean, there's a lot of great Christmas movies out there. Okay, Fatman has entered the rotation. It is now a part of that ring of success, that ring of Christmas spirit.
We got a Scrooged up there.
The
There you
one
go.
thing that I really like about Fatman
3.
is, again, Iron Man 3. Jesus.
Okay,
Oh,
I apologize. That
good
really.
grief.
that really-
But the one thing about Fatman that you and I both talked about that's really interesting is it's grounded in reality. It's very grounded, with the exception that he's Santa Claus and he can regenerate his health.
Right.
But other than that, his presence, the reason he does what he does is kind of grounded in reality.
It's fucking wild.
He is contracted by the United States government to obviously do his thing as Santa Claus, but also it's tied into the whole commercialization of the holiday.
Mm-hmm.
It generates Christmas dollars. It keeps the economy going, and they focus on that. That's why he does what he does. He's got these abilities, and he's contracted through the government. So I mean, it takes Santa Claus and it puts it like, how could they make this in a gritty setting? Okay, yeah, he's saying he can fly in a sleigh. You don't see any of this stuff. You don't see him in a sleigh flying around. It's just.
You don't even actually see the reindeer.
You see, there's one scene where you see the reindeers.
Do ya?
Yeah, when those two guys are questioning him.
Oh, that's right. Now I remember that.
But other than that, this movie is grounded a lot in reality, and it's gritty. But it's hard to believe this, dude, that I'm saying this after watching that trailer. After watching the trailer and setting expectations, there was actually kind of a heartfelt story here. Like you actually, there's times you're just like, man, I actually feel bad for Santa. Because, like, he's questioning his relevancy. He's questioning how much of an impact he has on children anymore. Obviously, in this movie, children, it's like now, everyone's like, oh, children are fucking more desensitized. They don't fucking
Playing
care
on
about
their
anything.
iPads,
They're assholes.
They're assholes. Yep.
They're assholes. And like as Santa Claus, he's supposed to inspire good kids. And he's feeling the pressure of society falling apart and kids becoming shittier and shittier, and it hits him like he's like I've lost my influence. I can't, I'm not as important as I used to be. Right. And so obviously his as he's contracted to the U.S. government, he's delivering more coal than presents. So his subsidy contract, he's not getting enough money because he's not making enough toys. There's a whole fucking like crazy like process to it.
It's very fucking like you get that like almost like that contractor feel. Like everything about that, like what they're doing is so very business-like, and it's a different take on that whole thing. Because before you just think, oh, it's just elves working for candy canes, and Santa's just a mythical being that's giving out coal and toys that elves build every year. Ha ha ha. Yeah. And that's it. They somehow managed to take that and turn it into a real grounded character with real issues, and like, I don't know what I'm going to be able to pay the elves anymore. We're not making the money we're not making. And it's like, at first, you don't even realize, like, you could go into watching this movie that's called Fat Man, and you could almost watch it and almost miss the fact that it's Santa.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, honestly, yeah.
That's like what's weird about it.
Yeah, but there's just enough in there to be like, yeah, he's Santa Claus.
Yeah, there's just enough. And like, he's in town, he's picking up his mail, he uses a P.O. box.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, somebody calls him Chris out of nowhere, which I thought was pretty cool. I'm like, oh, that's pretty fucking.
But I mean, just the way like how he knows everybody, like at the bar scene where the guy he's flirting with the bartender,
yeah,
and she leaves the room from it, and he's like,
knows
hey,
he's a
Mike.
scumbag, yeah.
He's like, hey, how's the wife and kids? He's like, how the fuck do you know who I am?
Right, like, what are you doing here? Like,
yeah, like he knows everybody. Like you have all those things that make Santa Claus. Like, he knows everybody,
right.
And he knows if you've been naughty or nice, and all this stuff. And it's so cool. But the thing that works here, man, is Mel Gibson. The guy still has range. He can go. He can be comedic. He can be intense. He can be emotional, and you get to see all aspects of Mel Gibson, and he does it. He's committed to it. That's
the point about this whole movie.
Yeah.
Is that every person in this fucking movie
is committed to it.
Is completely committed to this story that they're telling.
Ruth, who plays Mrs. Claus, amazing.
Yep.
She's really good.
Yeah.
She's really good. But then you got her, you got Mel Gibson, obviously you got Walton Goggins. Now, what's interesting about this, before we get into his character as the hitman and why he's brought into the whole equation, Walton Goggins actually replaced Shia LaBeouf.
Which blows my mind when you said that too.
Shia LaBeouf was supposed to be the hitman in this movie, which would have been pretty wild because obviously Shia and Mel Gibson are kind of those wild cards in Hollywood. You know, they've checkered past. They've done things that people are like, man, he's kind of a fucking asshole.
Loose cannons.
Yeah, they're loose cannons. They're unpredictable, but talented actors nonetheless. I mean, they're both very talented actors. But yeah, Shia LaBeouf was supposed to be the character of that Walton Goggins plays. But that's not like it's a step back. Walton Goggins is fucking awesome in this movie. And you and I talked about it before the show. The guy just has this ability to transition from intense to comedic, and still just kind of like you almost forget that he's in these movies. But when he shows up, you're like, oh my god, this guy is so fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it's like when you're watching a list of a movie of a trailer coming out. Oh, Walter Goggins is cool, and you don't even talk about it. And then after you see the movie or the show, you're like, fucking Walter Goggins. We got to talk about, because like I know like in Vice Principals or whatever, even on HBO, he's just it's a comedy show. He's with fucking Danny McBride.
Yeah,
you know, and he's funny in it because he's just a funny dude. But then you see him in something like the Crazy Eights or something like that.
Yep.
Is that right? Was that the Crazy Eights?
And see, the thing that I feel like this movie, again, an absurd premise.
Yes.
Much like Jiu Jitsu, but you've got talented actors, and Walton Goggins he's menacing in some scenes. He's creepy as fuck in some scenes, but he's got that, he can bring that levity. He can bring that humor, that dark humor where you're just like, okay, yeah, this is a crazy plot, but it's fucking hilarious. Like he dances that line. He keeps it intense when it needs to be, but then he brings the laughs, and you're like, oh man, this movie's so fucking funny. Like it's so, like you're going back and forth between it's a shooter, it's grimy, but then you get those laughs too. You're like, oh man, this is just a good ebb and flow. It's a good back and forth.
And it's just like this movie. This movie shows these hard ass characters, these characters in a certain way, and then there will be this like one little brief scene that shows us like this crazy like character development or this nuance of this character, like the plane scene, the toy plane. And then it all comes full circle when you get to the end, because he knows who he is anyways.
And that and that part where you find out that information about Walton Goggins again is it's so cool how you take this movie that is violent and it's absurd, but you have like it's a moment where you have some sympathy for the protagonist. You're like, or the antagonist. You're just like, oh man, he's kind of, I get it. It gives us. He's just not just a hitman. He's got some depth to him.
Which could
like,
be,
man, that sucks.
Those are the things that sometimes it's just enough of a nibble for you to understand what's driving that character. Because you can just have anybody come in and play a hitman and then say, well, I'm a contracted hitman. That's what I do. Give me some money.
Yeah.
But what makes these roles better and these characters better are those little things that could be the spark that turns them into that character or something like that.
Like you get a lot of the catalyst behind why these characters are behaving the way they're behaving, doing the things they're doing. You get a lot of that information, and it's just again, it's well acted, it's entertaining, it doesn't take itself too seriously, and it goes by fast. Like it's a quick, like that's how I judge a movie if it's good. If it's fast, it goes by quick. I'm like, shit, that was good. And on Jiu Jitsu, I felt like I was watching a 3-hour movie.
Right.
I was like, this is terrible. This is not good. But Fatman, entertaining as fuck. Highly recommended.
Absolutely recommend it.
Add this to your circle of Christmas movies. On the next episode, we're gonna talk about some of our favorite Christmas movies, and we're gonna really get into depth, get into a deep conversation with that, because there's a lot of great Christmas movies. Some that are well known, some that are kind of like, eh.
Yeah, no, this is a fantastic movie. I was pleasantly surprised.
Prime, I agree. Prime says, yeah, me too. I was waiting for Jiu Jitsu to end. It was painful. It was painful. This, I was just like, man, this was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
This is really good.
Even the wife, as we're watching it, she was just like, this is good. Like, this is like, how is this good? And there's a little, and we'll move on here shortly, but like some of the little things, and I'm going to keep going back to them, like with the character, like nuances and stuff like that. And like some of the way they told stories and some of the background stuff when they're sitting there and you're thinking, okay, are there elves in the movie? For the first while, you don't see them. And all of a sudden, there are definitely elves in the movie. And then like the military comes in and they're having a conversation with one of the elves. Like the
elves
main
are just eating all this,
and they're just eating all this candy and sweets and stuff like that. And like, you're like, this is ridiculous, but you're so into the dialogue, and they take these like what you would see and be like, that's fucking weird, and they turn it into a actual like realistic conversation grounded in some form of reality, and you're like, what? Then you're not looking or paying attention to how ridiculous it is that they're eating and drinking syrup or something like that. You're like, oh, okay. Yeah.
But
Okay.
again,
Yeah. There it is.
It comes down to just the way the actor that played Seven, really good. Like he's really good as the role as the foreman elf, and the way
Yeah.
he explains stuff, you're just like, man, this is fucking hilarious because he's serious, but at the same time, the way the delivery is, the way the conversation is going, like this is fucking hilarious. man.
Absolutely.
This is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I loved it.
It was just. So if you get a chance, we highly recommend Fatman. It is definitely worth a look. Add it to your rotation of Christmas movies. 2 big thumbs up. I think you agree. Awesome.
Oh yeah,
movie.
absolutely.
What do you got going on in the chat?
Just everybody's being funny tonight, so I'm trying to keep up with some of this shit. Ark and Wrath of doing a bit. Looks like he says I'm not gonna make it to the show. Apparently,
And you won't at all.
I probably won't. Spence I know works at a hospital, so I'm gonna get a cath kit maybe soon. That's awesome. Okay. Apparently, Candy Core Girl is whispering to King Cuddles about giving him the PS5. What the fuck? Smart ass.
Cuddles is already working on it. Already working angles. And Tricky Regent mentioned wasn't Goggins in Predators. Yeah, he was. He was amazing.
You brought that up, and I forgot. I forgot about that
too.
until you said the character, and I'm like, oh, with the tat.
He's got a tattoo of like this naked lady or something like that. And he's like, that's my sister, and you're just like, Jesus Christ.
Right.
He's just he is hilarious in Predators. But yeah, I mean, overall, just a great cast. Everyone's committed. Everyone's into it, and it goes by fast, and it's entertaining as fuck. So,
great.
Highly recommend Fatman. Now, moving on to the segment of the show where I just sit back and watch you jerk off for 20, 30 minutes. Let's talk about Mandalorian.
Yes.
Chapters 12
Shall we?
And 13, directed by Carl Weathers and Dave Filoni.
Good old Dave Filoni, the prodigal
respectively.
Son.
Tone?
Yep.
Let's talk about 12 and 13. I know Drass is going to be hyped about this one. I know he's got a lot he wants to talk. You guys had some serious conversations.
Yes, so...
Let's go with 12. Let's start with 12. 12 was a good show, but obviously 13 is
12 was
the big one.
so this season so far in the 5 episodes so far, and we're almost done. I think we got 3 left, by the way. I think it's 8.
I don't know.
Sucks. Or maybe it's 10. I don't know.
I hope it's 10.
But so if you have not seen it yet, you've got plenty of days, but mute it for a minute or whatever to watch it. We are going to dive into a little bit of some spoiler stuff as well too, and kind of talk about it. And anybody out there who wants to talk about it. So, yes, 12 was directed by Carl Weathers, which 12 was really great because 12 was definitely. It almost. I said this to you. It felt like a video game episode. Like it felt like you were almost like playing something like out of. Not necessarily Force Unleashed, but like maybe Jedi Fallen Order, just because like the scenery and the Imperial base you go to is very reminiscent of that game.
Yep.
Which is great because like this entire series feels like a cartoon every episode, and that's where these guys come from, and that's part of, I think, for me at least the allure of it. But man, the action in it was so fucking great. So you get to this Imperial base, they're doing what they got to do, and that stuff's really cool. One of the cool things that did show in that was the land speeder that they're flying out there with. I can't think of his name. Mythos, is that right? Drassen, what's his name? The blue dude that played by Horatio Sands.
Which is crazy. I didn't realize that was Horatio Sands.
Flying out there, and that's actually, if you remember in New Hope, when Luke sells his land speeder and he claims that he didn't get as much money for it because the new version came out. That's technically the new version, even though it's 6 years later. That actually the version that made us obsolete, which is kind of funny. And then when you're in the base, and these nuances are big to mention because this is the little stuff. And I keep using.
You're a big fan of nuance.
I can't figure out why.
Will you stop? Because you're scaring me.
I can't stop. I know.
You're offending people.
The what are those called, Dress? I'm not. My brain is all jumbled right now. But the actual the data, like the keys, the key cones or the key.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So you see them in a lot of Imperial officers. They got them stuck in here. They look like a pen protector, like pens or something like that. Yeah. But they're actually meant for they're basically key cards, security key cards. You put them into a machine or a computer and access this door or whatever. So that was the first time we actually saw one of those used, I think, in live action, which is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Like they'll have them in like the books and say, oh, is this, and this. You never actually got to see one used. Now we did, and that was really cool. And then you get into the chamber, and this is where they kind of loosely tie to the sequel trilogy because they're basically, which was neat, they said M count, which is midichlorians, because they won't say the word out loud because so many people, so many Star Wars fans were way turned off of that word being why the Force exists, which is microorganisms. Mm-hmm. So it was weird to kind of come full circle to that and call them M count. So, but what was going on in those Bacta tanks were clones, and it does play Snoke's music then at that point. So that means it plays Snoke's. At first, I thought Emperor Palpatine, and then even Jurassic was on that too. He's like, no, it's definitely Snoke, because if you remember in Rise of Skywalker, Snoke was some form of clone that he made or whatever. It was all this smoke and mirrors. So, but there were definitely Snokes in there because they play his music. So what they were basically doing is just draining the child of his blood because of the M count to be able to help make these clones. Because if you're bringing back somebody or the Emperor or whoever, you want that force sensitive blood, because that's going to make you stronger, or who knows, right? Whatever. Star Wars science. So that was cool. And then the getaway scene, that I think out of all that, besides those cool things that you could see, was definitely the highlight of it. You're basically, it's almost like Death Star Trench, New Hope, all of that. You're flying down this canyon, and you've got the TIE fighters coming after you, and Carl Weathers back there shooting them and stuff like that. That entire chase scene not only was really cool to see, it was also done so well.
It was just expertly crafted.
Yeah, you can tell their budget was up on this series this time, and man, oh man, it was so awesome. And then finally, you could see Mando come out with a Razor Crest and do some work too, and that's one of my favorite things about Star Wars in general, is that, and sometimes we forget about it because we're so worried about laser swords and stuff, is that it's about a lot of space fighting, and that's cool. So you finally got to see that. So, and these versions of the TIE fighters that they've done for the series, which started with Moff Gideon, also that name slips me right now too, are really kind of cool, because it's the actual foils, not the foils, excuse me, the TIE fighters wings, Jesus Christ, closed down. I know, my brain. Anyways, so that was really cool to see that. That was a great episode. It was very actiony. It was very awesome. Carl Weathers did a great job with that.
Yeah, I mean, he really showed a deft hand, as behind the director's behind the camera. Like he can choreograph an amazing. That was an awesome action sequence. I mean,
it was really
watching
awesome.
that. We were downstairs at the Strong Sun. I was like, man, this is pretty fucking intense for a streaming show. Like you mentioned, the budget is through the roof now. Yeah. This was a high octane action sequence. I was like, man, this is kind of dope.
Yeah, it was like
sitting at home watching this. This is Hollywood big time stuff.
It was as good as something you would expect to see in something like Rogue One.
Right, exactly.
Honestly,
yeah, exactly.
And that's pretty intense. So, and this season continues to surprise, because that was pretty much the most premises for Chapter 12. Is that now Grief Karga is a magistrate for Nevaeh, or whatever the planet they're on, and he needed Mando's help. It was just kind of a placeholder episode, because
side quest, as Mudini would say.
Right. Because we had Ahsoka's name drop the episode prior, and everybody, if anybody thought they were gonna go right to that, you were kidding me. But then when you knew Chapter 5, you saw Dave Filoni was the one that wrote and directed Chapter 5. You knew if this is gonna happen,
it's gonna be here.
This is gonna be here, and sure as shit, Chapter 13, just like Chapter 13, we're moving right into that, because Chapter 13 didn't waste but 20 seconds, and all of a sudden, finally, you get to see a lot. And this is something to think about too. We finally get to see a cartoon character outside of a side character like Saw Gerrera, played by Forrest Whitaker, who was originally a cartoon character, played in Rogue One as a live action character,
a high level.
Yeah, you were talking main, and even in a video game crossover with Saw Gerrera, and now we got a well-known, I think she was originally created in 2009. She was in that first Clone Wars movie. That's hit or miss if that's canon anymore. I think it is canon, but no one talks about it, before the series ended or started up. And as Padawan 2, Anakin Skywalker, Ahsoka Tano, a.k.a. Snips, comes back into the series just generally after being in Rebels. And now she's a live-action character played by none other than the most talented Rosario Dawson.
Oh, man, she's amazing.
And holy shit, that beginning was something else.
It was dope, man.
That was wild as shit.
Bouncing around in that fog, just lighting everybody up. I mean, it was like the perfect introduction, in the shadows, in the darkness, just taking everyone out, and then boom, once the fog kind of moves away, you're like, holy shit, that's her.
Yup. And the entire scene was just very, very, it was very artsy, in the sense that Filoni, with his directing and everything he wanted her to do, it was fog going on there, and she's almost like she was very ninja-like in a way.
She was extremely ninja,
which is cool, because, and it shows the difference between, Jedi from the past to, they're, in the past they would have numbers and they could go out and just face things head on, but now she's alone, it's a little bit different and things like that. So you get right into the episode like that, and you're like, holy shit, like this is unreal. You've got she looks up after she does this thing. You're looking up to the magistrate, which is pretty cool because the magistrate, the lady that plays her, has quite a background to her life story. And then you got Michael Biehn. You're like, I have not seen this guy.
Dude, I didn't
When's
know
the
that
last time he was anything?
Shit, I don't know. The Rock?
That long, you think?
I mean, I haven't seen Michael Biehn in anything in a while, but I mean, honestly, I didn't know that was him at first.
These nuts, House. What up, House?
Well, hey, there's Ant House. What's going on? Hey, if you guys are looking for some fucking sweet ass music to listen to while you're working, streaming, or whatever, check out Ant House Beats. I mean, iTunes, Spotify, he's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Check out his music. Is dope.
Yep.
You get some good energy stuff. It gets you hyped. It gets you going. Ant House Beats. Check him out everywhere. He's dope. His music opens and closes our show.
That's true.
That's why we love him. So like, hey man, can we play your music? Yeah, man, you can play.
He is part of the show.
That's the only reason people show up is they hear his music at the beginning and the end. That's the only reason they're here.
That's the only reason they're here. But so yeah, Michael Biehn out of nowhere, which
That was
again, like
crazy.
for me, I didn't realize it was him until like towards the end.
It was like I noticed at the beginning. I was like when he would talk, I'm like, is that fucking Corporal Hicks?
Well, that's just it. Like I was like, why do I know this dude?
Yeah.
But he's older now. So
he's way older. Like at first, I couldn't tell if maybe he seemed stiff. Like I don't know if he had certain like it's something like I don't know if he's just old as
I just
fuck.
think it's old.
I think he is old.
I think
as
it's
fuck.
just old, man. That's
but man,
all it
I
is.
was just like, holy shit! Dude, I haven't seen Michael Biehn in like 10 years.
He's just aged naturally and gracefully. Well, somewhat gracefully.
That's dope.
But yeah, so I mean, it crosses the path. Mando's got to find Ahsoka. He shows up after she's taken out the town. There's all this other background story going on, and he's got to go find her. He makes kind of a deal with the magistrate of town, and he walks out there, and that's when you start seeing like the little stuff. Like
this is what I want. I want to get your thoughts on.
So if you're watching closely when Mando's walking out before he actually meets Ahsoka, and only within seconds. You see in the corner of a tree, see an owl, and that's kind of a we're pretty sure a nod to there's an episode in Clone Wars where Anakin and Kenobi and Snips, that's her name in the series, that's her nickname or whatever, are dealing with these kind of like beings of the Force. I can't remember exactly their names. Like it's really kind of it's a weird episode. It's a father, son, and a daughter, and they're like basically the son is the representation of the dark side, she's the light side, and he's kind of like the gray, the kind of the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like this these beings. Well, stuff happens and transpires in the episode, and the daughter dies, and she ends up turning into this like spiritual forcey kind of owl or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, there's times in Clone Wars and Rebels where you see this owl, and Ahsoka may not know it, but it's like always kind of over her shoulder, or kind of like watching her.
Yeah.
Kind of like around her. So you get to see that in this episode. And I thought that was really good. It was very Filoni. So they're the Dyads of the Force. Thank you. Yes. They're very weird names. Actually, two of them I think are named as something else, as like planets or moons in the galaxy, but I don't remember. But they have a conversation. Mando when he meets up with Ahsoka, and this is where the big stuff starts coming in, and we actually get a name for the child.
Yep.
So before coming into this series, there were only two, technically, old canon, 3 known species of what Yoda is.
Mm-hmm.
Technically 2, because the third one was Knights of the Republic, and that I don't think he counts anymore. There was Yaddle and Yoda in Phantom Menace on the council, and Yaddle I believe did survive Order 66. I'm not sure, but there's actually monetary reasons why she was never talked about again. But it's not
Gogurt.
You're close. But and there's a heated debate right now. So the name of the child now is Grogu.
Grogu.
That's his name, and he communicates with Ahsoka through the Force telepathically because he can't speak. Now there is a huge 2-team debate between Drastin and my buddy Jay, and then me and my buddy Sam, and Rohit Raju kind of falls in some of the middle on this. There's 2 teams that think why this character at 50 years old can't speak and it can only speak telepathically. I'm not going to dive too deep into it, but I can tell you that on Monday or Tuesday or whatever, there was like an hour debate in our Star Wars chat between like 5 or 6 of us exactly trying to figure out why this character don't talk. This is how weird we get when it comes to Star Wars, by the way. So you can't communicate. trying to figure out. She tells him, I can't train him because I sense much fear in him. So there's a lot of like old school foreshadowing. She name drops Yoda, which was dope as shit.
Yep, we got to hear from Yoda.
And then she, without saying his name, mentions Anakin because she says, I've seen
what happens
in the fall of, and if anybody's caught up with Ahsoka or doesn't know Ahsoka again was a big character in the Clone Wars cartoon. And then she was also huge in the Rebels and played a big integral part in that story too. Mm-hmm. And we haven't technically seen this character in a couple years, and we never figured we'd saw her live action. And what's kind of going on now is she tells him, go to this planet, blah, blah, blah. Well, this planet is called Tython, which all of us Star Wars fans are trying to think, like, who's he going to commune with? This is a time period where you could talk to maybe Luke Skywalker. Is this a way to bring Mark Hamill back into it?
Dude, that'd be dope. Would it be? Would this be a younger Mark Hamill?
This would be a younger Mark Hamill. The
CGI shit going that Disney loves, yeah.
Could Mark Hamill reprise that role? There's always been rumors or but that's what we really want is him to talk to Revan, because Tython is a planet that had stuff to do with the Knights of the Old Republic, and there was a lot of additions to that not still being canon, Blanco, so be careful. But there are things that they did in this episode that actually kind of tie to Revan, and they've been doing that with all of Disney Star Wars, but never said this character is back. So we're hoping it's that. So we'll see. Hopefully next episode if they go to Tython. But anyways, you get back to the town. There's some sweet fights. You get some very, very Western-y feels, because Star Wars definitely takes a lot of inspiration from Kurosawa films and samurai movies and Westerns, and they showcase kind of both of them in this one. So there's some really cool standoff scenes. They mention HK-87 droids, which is another droid, HK-47, which anybody that played Knights of the Republic, that character was an assassin droid, and it's the first time that series of assassin droid, thanks to the show, is now canon. So that's a big deal. She deals with that. There's a sweet fight scene. Ahsoka comes back. You can see very Ahsoka stuff. I keep saying it, and I want to go back to it because I did kind of miss this early on. I told you about this beforehand. There's Rosario Dawson does such a great job with this character. There is what I call an Ahsoka look. Yeah. It's kind of like a side grin that she does in this episode that was very, very, very Ahsoka that I don't think a lot of people saw. Mm-hmm. But when she's on the guard, she kind of does the side look and kind of does this eye thing. It's really cool. If you've seen the character in any of the cartoons, she does this look sometimes when she does a stance. It's a smirk. It's kind of a half, like one eye's kind of bigger. She kind of looks. She does that, and I thought that was really cool that Rosario Dawson did that. That was a big deal to that. So, anyways, you get to the end of this episode. There's a couple standoffs involving.
I want to talk about the Mando and Michael Biehn character.
Right.
The nod to Tombstone.
And this is where I figured out right at that point that this was definitely Michael Biehn.
Which was fucking awesome, dude. Yeah. The Tombstone nod was awesome because in Tombstone, there's a scene where Michael Biehn is playing Johnny Ringo, and he shows up to, he's supposed to duel not Doc Holliday, but Wyatt Earp.
Right.
And but Doc Holliday is there instead.
I'll be your
Michael
Huckleberry.
Biehn says, he goes, "Fight's not with you, Holliday." And in this episode, when he goes up to Mandalorian, he goes, "My quarrel's not with you, Mandalorian."
Quarrel's
and I was
not
just
with
like,
you.
"Oh my god!" I was like, "That is so." It's just a play on words, but it's just saying like and that is fucking awesome.
And that's how I knew. I'm like, "Oh my god, that's Michael Biehn." And then I remember, I think pre-production of this, I remember Michael Bihn's being attached somewhere into the series.
That's fucking awesome.
And he sits down, which is also the first time we see a live-action shotgun blaster in Star Wars 2, which is pretty dope because you've seen him on the games.
Yep.
He sets that down. He does a little, you're Daisy if you be Daisy.
You're
if you
Daisy
do.
if you do.
There
he is.
Hey,
and still,
X
Division champion. What's up, Rohit Raju? What's going on, baby? The Flex Division champion.
Division champ.
That was a wild fight last night, dude.
That was an awesome fight.
That was a really, really good fight.
That was a
Crazy
really
Steve?
good match. Crazy Steve.
Crazy Steve. That was a sweet fight,
Great
man.
match.
Congratulations, buddy. Keep holding on to that belt, man.
Yep. Don't let it go. And then we get to the end, and it's a showdown between Ahsoka and the Magistrate. And without needing to get too much deeper into it, the last thing I'll say is like clearly the episode's amazing.
Yep.
This fight scene, all the choreography, the writing, the filming,
the sound of it too.
When the sound, everything about it.
What kind of steel was that?
She's hitting Beskar, and that's the first time you really get to see that pointed out too. Is that the reason the Mandalorians created these kind of armors was to fight the Jedi because they didn't have laser swords.
Right.
So you needed something
I
that
can
could
call him laser
fight.
swords.
Yeah, just be a smart ass because he does the bit with it too. But the lady, she does a showdown, the magistrate, and I just like mention this because it's a really, really funny, knowledgeable Easter egg. I'm like, why does she look familiar? Why does she look familiar? She's a stunt actress and she does a lot. She does some acting as well too. And then when you read the credits, it says, I can't think of her first name offhand, but Lee Inosanto. And when you see Inosanto, there's only one person in the world that you can think of that, for anybody that knows, and that's Dan Inosanto, who is the first student of Bruce Lee under Jeet Kune Do. And that's why that's a dope. Diane, yes, I think you're right. It's Diane. So she's the daughter, of Danny Inosanto, who was also in Game of Death. He's the guy with the nunchucks and stuff like that, who is probably, I know he still teaches JKD, but she's probably like a black belt in JKD too. So it's just really cool to see somebody like that involved because it's very, very, it's got that samurai feeling and had somebody like that. And they have a really sweet duel with that Beskar spear. So to break that episode down, yes, there's a lot to do to break that down. And you can clearly tell there's a lot of excitement, especially if you're a longtime Star Wars fan because of Filoni's background. This is basically a tie-in to Rebels in Clone Wars because when she beats Magistrate,
this is where Tricky's going to go nuts. Here's where Tricky's going to be happy.
She says one name because she's looking for a master, and everybody who knew, I wouldn't have guessed that off the bat.
I didn't think that was coming.
And that was crazy. And she says, I'm looking for your master, Grand Admiral Thrawn. Now, the reason that character is such a big deal is because any of us from the 90s that read the original Timothy Zahn books, or even now that he's recanon because of Rebels, this is a character that people and fans have been wanting live action for almost 30 years. Because the original trilogy that Timothy Zahn wrote, The Heir to the Empire, a lot of people back in the day, we would say this is basically... If George Lucas ever came back and did movies after Jedi, well, he's definitely going to base them off these because they're awesome.
Right.
Where that didn't happen. But this is a character that's very, very infamous within old Star Wars EU canon, then recanonized a few years ago in Rebels. And now we may see live action. And that's for really hardcore Star Wars fans, and even Star Wars fans alike. Doesn't matter your level, to hear that name. Even some casual fans know that name.
Dude, I just started picking up on the name because it was Tricky Region at work. It was like, dude, you got to read these books. This character's fucking rad. I was like, man, to be honest, I've never heard of the character before. And then, I got him talking about it, and then you were telling me about it. And then when I heard that name drop, I was in the show. I was like, oh shit, I know that's huge. I freaked out. Fucking huge.
I freaked out so bad I literally took my shirt off. I don't know why that correlated to that. Exactly. That's exactly. Yeah, exactly. That was exactly the look I got when I did that. I was completely excited enough to take my shirt off over excitement. So,
okay.
Give me money, give me Thrawn. I'm taking my shirt off.
Take it off, Tone.
Tarps off, boys. Tarps off. But yeah, I was really hyped. So, yes, amazing.
That was an incredible show. Yep. That was an incredible episode. I mean, it was just like you said, just name drops, and and again, for somebody who doesn't, I never watched the cartoons, I didn't know that stuff, but to see the love and care that Filoni put into this episode with all the Easter eggs and all the little nods and stuff for diehard fans to be like, holy shit, dude, that's fucking rad.
Yeah, and just generally the character of Ahsoka, who originally she was very, very polarizing for people early on because she felt very wedged into the series to be a Padawan for Anakin, and how she's grown into. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Spinning around. And how popular she's gotten with some of us. It means a lot. And that's why this episode, and this is why I'm focusing so heavily on it, because outside of there's really not a ton of Easter eggs. There's a lot of big ones that are really kind of in front of your face, and it's for the core fans. This episode was a love letter to Filoni's fans and hardcore fans. Yep. But the series is for everybody because you don't have to know all these names necessarily to enjoy it, and you don't have to gatekeep everything. Right. Like, everybody come and enjoy it. Like,
I mean, a lot of people who are maybe not diehard fans are going to find out more about Thrawn.
Right,
I mean,
and
this
maybe
is their first time getting their
absolutely, and maybe it'll prompt people to go back and watch the Clone Wars and watch the Rebels or certain parts of those. Yeah, because they're really good. And this is literally, like, when I say this is a live action cartoon of those, that's literally pretty much the truth of it. Like, Dave Filoni knows what he's doing at this point.
Yep,
and that's why. The movie, these have become this has become more popular than how the movies have split a lot of the fan base, and this is bringing everybody back together. So keep going with
I mean,
it.
what did you guys basically say? This chapter 13 was better than?
Well, Rohit will definitely tell you this all day, but there's been a lot of us that concessioned in that same Star Wars chat with the two different teams of us that this episode alone was better than all 3 of the sequel trilogy movies put together. And that's how good it is, and that's why clearly I'm so excited about it and have such a serious breakdown about this because it's a character that is one of my favorite Jedi, if not my favorite Jedi, which is Ahsoka. And it's taking place. It's basically a secret sequel to the Rebels cartoon, which is my favorite media of all Star Wars as well too. And we also think and pretty sure that this is going to be a platform for. We might deal with a lot of Thrawn and a lot of Ahsoka and Mando, but this might be the platform for Ahsoka to have her own series.
Oh, dude, Disney is going. I mean, what they see the hype being generated here. I mean, obviously, people are paying through the nose for Disney Plus. I mean, they're making a lot of money there. And this, again, I don't want to discredit cartoons, but I feel like this is just a more mainstream approach to get people invested into more of these characters,
right?
And allow them to kind of build off of that, the Skywalker saga, and just explore other aspects of Star Wars. Because a lot of people, man, mainstream casual folks, the Skywalker saga is all they know about Star Wars. Yeah. And there's so many compelling characters that are in the books, like Thrawn, and so many compelling characters in Rebels and Clone Wars that, they're not seeing that. But now you get these live action shows. That's dope, man.
It's again, without the gatekeeping and everything, it's harder to get adults, unless you're a big child adult like I am, to watch a cartoon. Than it is to watch a live action show.
But I mean, that's awesome that they had the creator of those cartoons and whatnot doing this show.
He's the one involved.
It's accurate to the to the lore. It's he can make what he wants to make a live action.
And so while the dialogue might be a little bit more campy because the cartoons are definitely, and this is still for all ages, a little bit more kid-ish to some degree. Sure. Especially once you start watching Rebels, actually in some of the stuff they do in Clone Wars, when you're as an adult watching them, you're like, they're dealing with adult themes here that kids don't get.
Right.
Kids are watching, and that's what's wild about cartoons. Cartoons, as us growing up, was all He-Man.
I think about the Batman the animated series. I mean, that was
really one of the first ones that
dark
came out.
as fuck.
Gargoyles too. Gargoyles was actually very, very dark as well too. And most of your cartoons weren't that dark. Most of them were trying to sell toys and very shallow. This is different. Right. Did he just steal my line?
I don't know. Did you just what line did you steal?
Oh yeah, he did say that.
What's that?
He says you can get common folk to watch a show who think cartoons are for kids.
Right.
And this is basically and I did basically say that. But this is a live action.
Tone also eats Lunchables in his undies while watching cartoons.
Cannot deny nor confirm.
Is there anything wrong with that?
I'm a huge cereal fan, so I will eat cereal half naked as well.
Wearing underwear right now.
And they're
it's
not
really
mine.
Weird. They're 3 sizes too small.
It's
like a Speedo.
Feels like somebody's cracking these nuts.
But overall, best episode of the season.
Best episode of the season.
Best episode ever.
One of the best pieces. The series is one of the best pieces of Star Wars. This is the reason to be a fan of Star Wars. This episode alone.
That's hot.
Yeah.
It's awesome. No, it was entertaining as fuck. It was awesome. I didn't want to chime in because, I know there's a lot of stuff that you noticed that you and the guys are talking about.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I dig about it, man. It's there's so many of those little things, those little Easter eggs. I mean, I think it was a couple episodes back. You said there was one episode that had 30 some fucking Easter eggs.
You watch these videos afterwards. And I watch these Easter egg breakdowns. I'm like, damn, we caught a lot of stuff as a collective group in the Star Wars chat. And then all of a sudden, somebody catches a couple more. You're like, fuck, that's a lot of shit too.
I had no idea. Moody says, sorry, I had to put the kids to bed. How do we feel about the name Grogu? I think I'll stick with Baby Yoda.
That definitely has also split fans to some degree.
Yep.
There's a couple other things that and her man trails from the Torguda's Laku headdress, or what do you want to say, as of that species. There was reasons for that. Grogu doesn't bother me yet. I was a little disappointed in the fact that I wanted more out of that name.
I wonder if
but exactly, it's grown on me.
Yeah, it'll grow up. I wonder if it's just because he's a child. It's a little baby Yoda, and you're like, Grogu just sounds like a more like an adult, I don't know, or is it just
It's been a year or so since everybody's been calling it Baby Yoda or a child, so now you just kind of that's been kind of
put a name with it.
Well,
I mean, he's 50, he's not wrong.
And I don't know that necessarily anybody ever expected to hear a name for anytime soon.
I wasn't expecting a name.
I don't think any. I wasn't.
I was expecting this thing was being called a child forever.
Sure. Sounds like
Or-
Goku tones.
Or like the final episode, he'd be like, "Hi, my name's Pee-wee," and then walk on a ship and fly out. Like, okay, that's
fuck you. Give me them keys. I'm out of here. Yeah, but they said, Dave and John said that name had been around since like season 1. They knew this was gonna come out.
Panic, not my baby Yoda.
Jesus Christ.
Cancel culture's kicking in. Cancel baby
was
Yoda.
it El Blanco? Or they said, is that his name? Gogurt?
Gogurt.
That's pretty funny.
That was really funny.
Right now, I will say to wrap this up is the memes from this series.
Oh my
especially
God.
from this episode with Grogu, because she mentions that he was on Coruscant when orders. He was trained by Jedi.
Yep.
And to what degree of his learning is where some of the debate comes into, but the memes right now are so funny because clearly Anakin walks up there and just starts piecing out younglings.
Yeah.
So Grogu's alive. Well, somebody got him off there. That's where that door is open to be like, could we finally get the return of Mace Windu that some people think? Could it have been Joe Costa, the librarian who told Obi-Wan Kenobi, we don't have wrong records here. Your planet's not there if it's missing in your little thing or whatever. Or was it Palpatine, who was known to keep Force children around for his own devices?
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? Who got him off of Coruscant? That's the question. I think that's going to be a bigger answer down the road, because Filoni and John don't start questions without answers at some point. So Mace Windu is alive. Could he be?
Modini says, Tone, did you see the HK assassin droids in there?
Yep, that was the first time they actually recanonized the HK assassin droids, because HK-47, the well-known assassin droid from KOTOR with the great line that Rohit Raju has also called us viewers meat bags.
Meat bags.
Yep.
I like it when he called me a bag of milk.
He did call you a bag of
He
milk.
called me a bag of milk, and I carried that
He
title
called me
proudly.
a sweet potato, though.
Yep, that's I'm changing my name from the Dude79 to the Bag of Milk 79.
Bag of milk 79.
Pretty dope, I thought. All right, moving on from Star Wars to the final
Yes,
topic of the
finally,
evening.
yeah, sorry.
Something I know you're very excited about. You and I are both very excited about, but I know you in particular were a huge fan of Witcher 3.
Yep.
Big fan of CD Projekt Red. Next week is obviously the week. Finally.
After 7 long fucking years since
And
that first
7
screenshot.
fucking delays.
72 delays, yes. We are finally going to be able to get our hands on CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk 2077.
Cyberpunk 20. Y'all didn't hear about the delay again. Fuck you, Brian.
I made that joke today, too. I'm like, yeah, we're going to get to next week. Then I'm like, nah, sorry.
No,
We didn't ship
not.
them.
No, this is pretty exciting, man. We're finally going to get our hands on CD or Cyberpunk 2077. It drops on Thursday next week.
Mhm.
Obviously there's a lot we don't know about this game, but there's a couple things we know. And the one thing we're going to talk about tonight is something that's been out for I think this video came out like 3 months ago, but we're close to launch. Have a quick discussion about which life path are you going to take?
I can't answer that fucking question.
You're going to have to.
No.
Yes, you're going to at
Next
least give us an
Thursday?
idea. We
Okay.
have the life paths are basically like, like in any RPG is like you're figuring out your family's heritage or your origins, and typically when you choose a certain path or class, there's certain effects, certain benefits from choosing that class that will carry over into the world of the game from the beginning as well as throughout all of it. So, we're looking at where our 3 classes you can choose from. There's the Nomad, Street Kid, Corporal. And I don't know if you guys have seen this video or not. Make sure you check it out on YouTube. It's on the Cyberpunk channel. But Tone, you got Nomad, who is basically the class that is out in the middle of fucking nowhere on the outskirts of Night City. You've got the Street Kid, who's like the dude down the streets, mingling with the gangs.
Riff-raff, street
He's got
rat.
that street cred.
Yeah.
And then you got the Corporal. Got that high society fucking...
Are they calling it corporal? Or is it corporate?
Corpo. So you have
Corpo.
Nomad, Street King, and Corpo.
Corpo.
We've watched this video. Maga says he's going Nomad.
Yeah, we were talking about that some today. That's
Nomads is
Corvo.
I feel for myself, it's going to be between Nomad and Street Kid. Now, I like Nomad because, like you mentioned, talked about this before, we grew up kind of like on the outskirts of the city. I grew up in Shields. You were out in
boonies.
You're on the boonies. So Nomad kind of has like a I have a connection there.
Sure.
But then Street Kid, before I moved out to Shields, I was down kind of like on Mason, which is down more in the city, and so I had like that Street Kid as well.
Not a nice area these days.
It
Anymore.
is not a nice area these days.
Used to be all right.
So obviously, I'm leaning more towards Street Kid because one of the benefits of choosing Street Kid is you're more in tune with the gangs of Night City, so you can move around, just mingle with them more. You can
Will you be a Crip or
interact
Blood?
with them more. You've got benefits of when you interact with gangs. But I also am kind of curious about Corpo. It's because of the when you choose Corpo,
He's a Crip, yeah,
you're dealing with like the seedy corporate level folks, like the high society people, and there's a lot of shady shit going on. The video was actually super cool to watch. If you watch this video, guys, it's actually really, really neat. It breaks down, and again, whatever class you choose, not only will affect early on. I mean, there's like each storyline develops your character, but as you progress through the game, your decision is going to come into play many, many, many times.
Even just as far as dialogue.
Oh, dialogue, everything.
Big piece of it.
Look at November 19th. That's hilarious. No, it's not November 19th.
Nah.
Not.
Nah.
But Tone.
Yeah.
I want to know what you're thinking. And sound off, you guys. If you've watched this video, are you digging Nomad? Are you digging Street King or Street Kings? Man, what a sweet movie. You ever see that with Keanu Reeves?
Which one? Street Kings?
Street Kings.
No.
Dude, Street Kings is so good. And then Corpo. Let us know what you think, which way you're going with it. What are you thinking?
So Corpo really is like the last choice. So for me, it's between Nomad and Street Kid. And the reason Nomad is because I feel like you're going to see a different part of Night City or outside of Night City that you might not with the other storylines. I could be wrong on that because I know in like Grand Theft Auto, you go out and deal with Trevor and stuff like that. So maybe it's a scenario like that.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like as somebody who grew up in the sticks and had to drive 45 minutes to any form of commerce, that's something I'm attuned to. Like, I had to make it to the big leagues. Now I live in fucking Saginaw, Michigan. Sweet. So maybe that'll be something I can really feel. But then again, like you said, that Street Kid thing, like, like somebody mentioned Sea Walk. Well, can you Crip Walk?
I do a Crip Walk.
Can you do a Crip Walk? That's a great question. I'm glad somebody brought that up. But, that Street Kid sounds something cool because that's always, what you want to be. Because instead of, building forts and shooting off BB guns, maybe it could have been in town playing basketball and hanging out with people at the park. I don't know. So for me, those are the two I gravitate towards. I just don't know. And like you said, with the gangs and the stuff, and you're in Night City right out the gate.
Yeah,
there's a lot of like underworld kind of stuff. I feel like that'd be a big piece of that. Like you said, build an army. Like, okay, you want to take on the corporate world? I already got my army.
And that's the way I'm looking at it. Is, I mean, and obviously this is a very generalized, like, we don't know shit about this game or how in depth this is going to go. But if I look at the Street Kids, I'm looking at that as a fact that, like you said, there's an army of gangs in Night City, and I need that against Corporal. I am still trying to figure out how can the Nomads out in the Badlands be a threat to anything in the Night City.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And that's why I'm just like, I want to make sure I have an army of gangs, and build up my reputation there to take on the Corpos. But I mean, that's the thing. Don't underestimate the Nomads. They're not going to make a Nomad class and have that just be some fucking write-off. Oh, cool, you can go experience the outskirts of Night City in the Badlands. There's something else there. They got cool guns. There you go. Yeah, they got cool guns. They can work on vehicles.
They got some of those crazy shotguns or something. Is that trick? Is that right for the Nomads and stuff like that?
And the video you guys are watching here, this is running on a PlayStation 4 Pro, and about halfway through the video, it shows how it looks running on PlayStation 5 via backwards compatibility. Looks really good. Looks really good. Go ahead.
None of us have, well, I don't have a computer that could run fucking Cyberpunk and them kind of graphics. Shit. But yeah, at the end of the day, I still am really struggling with the choice between those twos. And I'm leaning more towards Nomad because I like the thought
You're going to
process.
head out to the Badlands.
I feel like, who knows what's out there, man? Like, I like that Mad Max kind of look of it.
That's badass.
That kind of calls to me.
You're not going to have the Badlands be on the, obviously Night City is the destination you're going to be at most of the time. But you're not going to build the Badlands and not have there be some value out there. There's going to be something out there.
That's what I'm saying.
Or something that you're going to be connected to that is going to give you a major advantage when you get to Night City.
He might not be here anymore, but Arkenrath's mom might be out there, and that's a big piece of it.
Oh, she's definitely out there.
She's definitely out there.
I've heard. That's
behind a couple cactuses. What up? Who wants a piece? Give me
Dude,
$2.
Death Dispenser said, a mysterious steel monolith. Have you seen the stories of this shit?
Yeah.
Did you see how there's another one across the world somewhere?
Scientology, bro.
And it's
Scientology,
gone.
bro.
And it's gone.
Yeah, I know.
What was the first one? Was the first one in Colorado?
It's a bit, yeah. It's just somebody doing a bit.
Dude, that's a pretty elaborate bit being across the world somewhere
fucking
else.
piece of metal.
That's dope. Dude, if
It's
that's
cool.
a bit, that's fucking sweet.
There are 3 now.
Oh, is there 3?
I mean, it's fucking. Listen.
Oh my god, 3
listen.
monoliths?
It's 20. Is anybody surprised by this weird shit?
Art project by a minimalist sculptor. I
That's
mean,
exactly
that's
what
probably
that's
what it
what
is,
I'm
but
sure.
I hope it's fucking aliens, dude. But I mean, I love the report. But I mean, here was the report about the one. Was it in Colorado? Was that where the first one was?
Yeah.
And how it was removed. Dude, if somebody comes in to remove something, the government says it's an unknown group that removed it. I don't think that's a bit, dude. The government comes out and says an unknown group. How does the U.S. government get in on a bit? That's what I'm saying, dude. How does the U.S. government say, "Oh, somebody came in and an unknown group moved in"? I think that no, honestly, dude. I think that comes. I think that takes it out of the bit territory. When the government says an unknown group has removed it.
Here's the thing. I want to feel that entire excitement of it because that would be cool.
I fucking love that.
But I
shit,
completely agree that here's my thing, and I
Uh-oh.
want to get to. Here's my thing about aliens.
Love them.
All right. Years ago, as a kid growing up, I was like, "Oh, we're fucking universe is huge. Aliens gotta exist. Blah blah blah. We're gonna see them soon." Mathematically, the probability of even life to exist is so minute, and then the fact that we're gonna come into contact with it for something like this, like it's so fucking small. Like I just.
Oh, that's right. He doesn't wear a mask and goes to the bars all the time. That's what we're talking about here. You just don't care, right? You're just gonna go get COVID. It doesn't exist. This shit isn't.
No, shut the.
I'm
fuck
just saying,
Don't-
dude.
don't
I don't want to hear this
even-
all
don't even, no.
they'll never come here, dude.
Listen, I'm a fan of science and astronomy and astrophysics, man. Like for me to think that this has got the workings of an alien, I'm not gonna buy into it.
Man.
Like no, don't get me
Well,
wrong.
this specifically.
If we're
No,
talking about
but
this
those-
monolith, no.
But when the Defense Department released those videos of
The Defense Department's
that
run
shit-
by a clown show.
dude, I'm just saying, man. When you have pilots, Navy pilots,
That's how they discovered
are
it in
chasing
Colorado,
that shit
right?
down. I don't know if it was Navy pilots. It was just somebody doing a flyover.
Okay.
But man, those videos, dude, of the thing skimming across the ocean or the thing that's in the air, the thing that's unique about that is just how it's rotating as it's going at that speed.
This is the monolith right now.
No,
we're
this
talking
is completely different. I'm talking
Are
about
we talking about the footage?
the footage and
oh,
shit like
yeah,
that.
man.
That stuff, man, that shit is so fucking fascinating.
Area 51.
I love that shit. I mean,
It's cool.
Shit.
And we were trying to say like these monolith. I mean, if you're
Dude, the
legitimately-
only thing about the monoliths that seriously had me questioning is when they say an unknown group came in and removed it, and it's just from a government official. You don't do dude. If fucking some random newspaper says, "Oh, an unknown group,"
yeah,
came
but it
in,
could have been an unknown group from like Berkeley University.
I'm just saying, dude. If it's a government official saying an unknown group came in, why would you say unknown group? It's a government official. It's
Because
not
they don't know who it
fucking
is? They're
Saginaw
unknown?
News. The government would fucking know who's coming into it.
Would they?
Yeah, they should.
Mm,
Oh man, whatever, dude.
Run by clowns.
It's aliens, Magus. I'm telling you. And thank you. Rohit knows. I love anything to do with alien life. I fucking love that shit.
I just.
You're
It's
fucking,
cool.
You're
Hey, it's
a
cool.
loser.
Like no, I'm
Oh,
not
man,
saying.
I
It's
don't want your
cool,
fucking.
But
it's
I'm
cool,
not.
Man.
I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm not. I don't get on the alien thing.
God, I hope.
I just don't.
I hope
man.
they show up outside your window like in
They might.
signs where
Yeah.
you're looking outside your window and there's one standing on top of your fucking garage.
Walking
I
by
hope
my
he comes
party.
inside and sodomizes you. That's what I hope he
That's
does.
fucking rude. I'm just saying. Like if you want to talk about
Get
it,
him out of here.
What do you? I'm not putting the tinfoil I had on yet.
I just hope you get a
Swing away.
I
away.
hope you get an alien with a big fist. That's all I'm asking
Oh my
for.
god. Anyways, I didn't know they found a third one. My guess is it's like some social project or some artsy fartsy thing, but
Yeah, I just thought that was like. And now they keep finding them over and over again. Then I would just be like, this is kind of
Oh.
crazy. But that first one showed. I was like, dude, that's dope.
first thing I thought when I saw them, like, oh, somebody's doing a bit.
Man, you suck. Man. Why you
I
gotta
mean,
ruin
it's
everything?
cool, but
Why
like,
you
what do you
gotta
want
ruin
from me?
everything?
Like, I'm sorry.
I want it to be creepy, and I want the end of the world to
Well,
happen.
that's cool.
Jesus.
Look like a fucking dildo.
That's
Go
so
sit
much
on
to
it.
ask.
Go sit on it.
I want fucking
Go sit on it.
chaos.
Go sit on it.
I hope if there is a higher intelligence out there that they have better things to do than look on.
They're gonna fly right by, motherfucker. They don't even care.
They're just stop by and be like, nah, we're good. We don't want none of your bullshit.
See ya.
You guys will be gone in 20 years. We'll come back when you guys are all dead.
Yeah, fuck it.
You guys are fucking losers.
Fuck this rock. Anyways, what are we talking about?
We're closing.
A wet blanket. Did you? So you're gonna be a street kid?
I'm gonna lean towards street kid. That's where I think I'm gonna go.
Lame.
You're gonna end up being a corporal, aren't you? You're gonna be a corporal.
Probably.
Probably.
Start as a high roller right away. Hey, nice collar. Thank you. I'm a corpo.
Tone is a wet blanket. He sure is, Moodini.
What?
You're a wet fucking blanket.
Well, because of fucking the sign of some metal thing in the desert to get me excited. Like, oh god, aliens here, everybody. Look, land on it, sit on it.
Oh my god, I'm gonna wrap the show because you're a fucking buzzkill. I want fucking aliens, dude. I want aliens. All right. That is going to do it.
Yes.
For this episode of Banter and Babble. Congratulations again. The Candy Core Girl.
Yep. Congratulations.
The winner of the
win.
PlayStation 5 and the $50 PSN card. Tone will get that to you sometime before June next year. We will get that over to you ASAP.
Maybe.
We just have to actually find one to give to you. We don't really have one. We were just joking about all that.
Yeah, I gotta go to Meijer tonight and get some fucking socks.
Yeah, have Moody get on Meyer's website and hook you up.
Yeah. Well, hey, we appreciate Candy Core, and I really appreciate you chit chatting in the Discord too. We love interacting with everybody throughout the day when we're able to, outside of our job and whatnot, and all the sicko people that are in there.
Yeah. And like I said, this is just the first of many giveaways. We'll have a lot of stuff throughout 2021. And again, it's just because we appreciate all of you so very much. You guys and girls are here every Wednesday. You're keeping the chat going. You're giving him the business. He is a wet blanket. But no, seriously, we can't thank you guys enough. It's seriously amazing that you guys are here all the time supporting us and encouraging us and giving us suggestions, giving us the feedback. That's the stuff we need. So I'll wet his blanket.
I do that enough, man.
Oh my! I don't know if you want him to wet your blanket.
Why?
Well, you might. You might want that.
Depends.
Stop. Digress. Quickly, he digresses. Anyways, next episode of next Wednesday. What are we doing? Are we getting back? We got B&B plays next Wednesday. Ooh, we didn't think about this.
We definitely got B&B plays next one.
What are we doing?
That's a great question. We have to pull that out. Poll.
I mean, we might as well just do Among Us.
That's what everybody wants.
I mean, we might as well just do Among Us.
Because we can get 8 or 10 people in at a time.
Let's go. All right, so next Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on Banter and Babble. Ooh, Drastin wants Paladins.
We're going to run a poll.
We'll run a poll. Tone loves running polls. He loves those long...
POLL.
Jesus.
It's a silver monolith in my backyard. I'm going to run that poll all day, too.
This guy is so nasty.
Moon landing.
Good grief. Yeah, we'll run a poll. We'll see what everyone wants to play next Wednesday.
Yeah.
That'll be B&B Plays. And then on December 16th,
yeah,
the final episode of Banter and Babble 2020 will air. We're going to talk about our favorite Christmas movies. We'll talk about the Game Awards. Obviously, there'll probably be some big announcements next week at the Game Awards, so we'll have some games to talk about. And if you want to be a part of a movie discussion, Santa Jaws?
Santa Jaws, right now, if you have Prime Video, is free for Prime members. Santa Jaws. Find it, watch it, and let's talk about that in 2 weeks, because boy, oh boy.
What? Maybe we'll do a B&B watch. Because it's on Amazon Prime.
Oh, fuck. That's a great idea.
Maybe we'll do it on a Saturday night or something like that, or a Sunday.
What works best for people on watch parties?
Yeah. What do you guys think? Like, if we do a B&B watch on Amazon or on Twitch, right here, we can air the movie. If you have Amazon Prime, you can watch it with us. What night works for everybody?
Or days, Sundays.
During the days. I can do it. I can do it any time.
I mean, you could run, even if I can't watch because of work. Like,
I can run that
anytime.
shit during the day. But I mean, what works for everybody?
Worms, yeah.
Santa Jaws. It looks fucking terrible, but it could be pretty good too.
The premise is basically like some kid drew
a shark because he's pissed he didn't get what he wanted for Christmas. With
the Santa hat.
And it's like
it's
Santa Jaws,
and it comes to life and does Santa Jaws things.
And it doesn't have Nick Cage, so the expectations are a little bit lower, and the ceiling isn't quite as high.
Yeah, we'll see.
See what happens. But Santa Jaws is a movie we'll be talking about, plus all of our favorite Christmas movies. We'll talk about the Game Awards. We'll talk about Mandalorian. Obviously, we'll have 2 more episodes to talk about. We'll have a lot to talk about, and we might even talk about some of our favorite games of 2020.
I think so.
I think we'll talk about that.
We should choose our game of the year.
Should be a pretty hot episode, and that'll be the final episode of 2020, and then we'll be back again on January 6th.
Yes.
I think that's Tuesday or the Wednesday of 2021.
First, yeah.
But overall, you guys, thanks again so much for your support. Appreciate everyone being here tonight. For Mr. Fanboytone, I'm the Dude79. Thank you for watching Banter and Babble. See you next week for B&B Plays. Have a good night, everybody.